Welcome back to another video. I guess our main objective this time is the exhaust. Now I really enjoy doing some exhausts. I always like to do something different. Kind of gives a little signature to it, makes it stand out. So I did buy this standard flathead headers from Speedway. I'm 99.9% sure that they're not going to fit because of our frame rails. They're tapered and it's pretty tight. So when I bought them, the intention was that I'm going to pretty much cut them up. And I have a bunch of old tube and stuff like that from previous projects in the little metal bin. So I'm going to try to do something a little cool, a little different, make it stand out, but really don't know what I'm doing until I'm in it and kind of see how the metal goes and what's going to work, what's not going to work. Excuse me. So I guess that's really the plan. Let's figure out this exhaust. Should be pretty fun. Should be a little different. I know I have a few options that I've been thinking of. It'd be kind of cool to drop it below the frame rail, just dump it out kind of close to the bottom. But then I don't know. I think what I'm going to like the best is to dump it out on the top of the frame rail, out to the back. Most of you know, or if you don't know, here's a little learning lesson. So of course it's a V8, so we got 8 cylinders. In most cars, each cylinder has its own exhaust. But on these flatheads, the 2 center cylinders, they share one port. So this is only 3. So we could do 3 individual ones that'll dump out the sides here. The option was to take this straight down and then dump it out somewhere down in here, kind of shoot it out here. We could take it and run it straight back and then dump it back at the end of the cone. But I think I'm going to, after we take these cast irons off, somehow I think we're going to tie them all together and dump them out right through here. I do have to remember that my shifting mechanism is probably going to be running straight through here, come back to there. So I might somehow maybe come up and do a swirl and come out. I don't know yet, but lots of options. It could change, and I don't know what yet. But I think we have a little bit more room on this side, just the way that the headers are laid out. And then we got the starter over here. All right, let's see what we got here. All right. Just trying to look while I'm taking these off of what we could actually do. God. So right side is now off. Everything looks really nice and clean. Here's the existing that came off. I think we look really good there, even though we're not going to use that. So always make sure you get your gaskets off. You don't want to double up gaskets. That's a bad thing. Let's see how nicely this can come off. There we go. Came off pretty good. All right. We'll scrape these real good with a blade here in a minute. That one's off. And that one's off. Well, I figured before I start cutting up the other side, I should get this one off and just check and see what we have. Because I might be able to if I cut them all into sections, I might be able to use something from that side on that side. That'll work better. But we'll see. Remind me later to get another dipstick. It looks like this little cap right here is busted, but when it's covering that up, I can see a little bit of the hole. So I'm going to tape that real quick, but I need to order another one or figure out some way to fix that. But yeah. There we go. Okay. That side is off. Got the left side off, and I was trying our left side headers that come on, that came for it here. So I guess I got my first dilemma. So here, bolts up. You can kind of see hugs there, got plenty of room. But then our port down here, we could dump out right through here, which would be kind of cool. That would save a lot of work on this side. But the problem is, if I dump it here, I think that side needs to dump on the same. And the one problem I see with that is that once we mount these up, if we're trying to dump it down, because this side's going to dump right here on this side of this gusset, right around in there. So we come to this side of the gusset, starter. And I can't relocate the starter. And I don't think, I mean, I got 3 inches maybe there. I got some room, but it's a lot of heat. But I would be ended up dumping, the other side is down here. All right, I need to brainstorm and drink some coffee. So I think the best course of action is we're going to utilize this side, dumping out below the frame rail, which is really going to help with our fabrication of our shifting mechanism over there without trying to have to go around it or building it and then realizing we can't get it to do what we need it to do. This way we have kind of free game of the open space on the other side. So this side is going to be the easiest in theory. So we're going to bolt this up, find out where our hole is on our actual tank. And then we can kind of measure and get our hole on that side. And I think I'm going to kind of work from the hole back a portion of the ways, and then I can get our 3-cylinder holes cut, the tubing for it cut, and then kind of piece together to get down to where we need to be. I think that's going to be the best idea. And then I got a really cool idea for the tip, or the part of the pipe that sticks out on the outside of the tank for everybody to see. I think that's going to kind of really pull it together. Got it kind of has a very cool look, in my opinion. So I'm going to get this put up. I do have all new gaskets. I bought a really nice set, and then I bought a cheaper set. And we use the cheaper set for when we're doing all the fabrication and stuff like that. And then when we do the final assembly, we'll put our good gaskets on and stuff like that. But the same thickness. I just didn't want to ruin those by, tightening them down and messing them up or something like that. So I'll go ahead and get this in. Actually, I got new mounting bolts too. I'll put all this stuff came from Speedway. The gaskets, these bolts, and these headers came from Speedway. So I'll put those part numbers in the description. That way, if you want them, you know where to get them. Let's try to pop this in first. There you go. There went the gasket. Lovely. All right, let's get you on there. That feels weird. That feels really weird. What the heck? Maybe we have our first issue. I think they sent me the wrong bolts. Oh wait, no, the front ones are big ones, aren't they? Then it's, oh, they did. Son of a gun. I just wasn't paying attention. Look. Well, hot diggity, man. Okay, I feel good now. Now, let's try this again with the right bolt. You know what? Before I do that, because that felt a little tight, I'm going to get my tap, and I'm going to tap these real quick just to clean them up. I'm not worried about any of the shavings going inside because of where I'm at, but I think that's the smartest option. So I'm going to tap all these real quick just to get them cleaned up, and then we'll go from there. Now I have my two different bolts here, so I want to make sure I get the right tap. A cool tool to have, which I did a little video on it before, but that's before I knew how to edit or actually make a video. So this kind of supersede that one, but this helps you identify what bolt you have and the thread pitch, everything else by Stupid Simple Tools. So yeah, this is pretty slick. It's got standard and metric, and you actually have threaded holes to see what you got, or you can line it up against your existing ones. Like these here, I think these are 7/16 course, maybe. Is it? There we go, 7/16 course. So you can kind of line them up there to see how they fit, or you can thread them in there to verify what you have. So if you don't have one of these, it's a nice little addition to have. You never know what you're going to find. So, yep, I'll put a link down in the description if you want to check them out. Actually, they have a newer version out, which is cool. I think one side's red, one side's blue, which is pretty slick. So I'm going to go ahead and get the taps for these and get everything else cleaned up. All right, I got all the holes tapped. So we're going to go ahead and give this a whirl again. Go under there. And I'll get the right bolt this time. Yeah, I'd say probably 3/4 of these holes were pretty gunky. So it was good to clean them out. So the last thing I want to do is break a bolt off in the head here. All right, so I'm going to tighten this up, but not crazy tight, because we're going to be taking them off a few times here, but just enough to help us out here. They're clicking and clacking everywhere. So what I'm doing is just kind of tightening them up until I can just barely feel it move to be semi-tight, and then get them all kind of to the same location. So I'm not tweaking anything. Well, let's take it in more with the hands, see if we can get it. Nope. So buying these existing headers, I think they were 160 bucks or something like that. Just the fact of having the flanges and a lot of the bends and stuff, being able to cut it up, save a lot of time since we're trying to customize it. So that was well worth it, I think, for the time that would have taken to get to at least this point. Let me make sure these are just snugged up a little bit. Man, come on. Where are you at? Okay, give me my socket back. Here we go. All right, so this is what we have. So you look from the top, it's nice and tight into the sides. Got them all bolted up there. And then if you can kind of see, we're dumping, and between here and the tank, probably we do a straight line 2 3/4, 3 inches. So what we're gonna do is we'll put a mark on this, come straight down to here, and we'll make a circle, and then we're gonna probably make it a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch bigger. And I'll probably put another extension on this so it's solid outside the tube or outside the tank. And then once it's outside the tank, I'll probably do like a pie cut or an angle cut on it. So we'll have a bunch of bends, especially on this other side, that'll come out of the tank to the outside. And then at the end of that, I have, these are new, but I've had them probably 10 or 12 years. These old baffles from Sampson exhaust. Wait, that's not cool looking. Looks like the end of a machine gun or something like that. But you put them in your exhaust to give a little back pressure and make it have a cool little noise. So I think what I'm going to do is once we have our hole here to dump out, we'll have a little bit, probably an inch or so of the solid tube, exhaust tubing. And then I'm going to cut this and put this on like that. Probably cut off this end or back cut it this way. But I think that's going to kind of look pretty cool. What do you think? Kind of be like that angle there, but cut up to about right here. I think that might be kind of slick looking. Looks kind of mean. But that's my thoughts. All right, keep going. All right, just to give you an idea of how I can get in my circle, I just take a straight edge and line it up with the center of the tube. And where it's at, just let it extend down to where I hit the tank, put a black mark, and go all the way around. And then I pretty much went to a 1/2 inch bigger around it and drew my circle. So that's what we'll cut out. That way we have enough room. If there's any vibration, that's going to let other heat out, and it's going to help when we put them in to give us a little bit more room. So we got a measurement for this. I'm going to transfer that to the other side, and that way we have it's identical, and then we'll kind of work backwards from there. So just to show you real quick, this was the little helmet air cleaner that came on the Flathead when we got it. But I found that little frog mouth cover. I think that's pretty cool. Dang it. The fins were polished, but I kind of buffed them down with the Scotch-Brite just to dull them up a little bit. But I think that looks way better than that. Don't you agree? So I think that's really cool. Comes with the little rubber gasket and just some of the wire mesh and stuff inside. I think that really sets it off. And then the tank should be right about in here, the top of the tank, so that scoop will be inside of our little air dome if we decide to do one. So, all right, back to what are we working on? Exhaust. Here we go. Well, with our baffles, usually you slide it into the pipe and then you could bolt it through. But we got this bar in here, so we're going to end up cutting back about 1 inch, which this pipe is pretty big. And then this is about close to the angle we want. And then we're going to have to cut this down, fit it in there. So I'm going to cut this off, clean off some of this, and then we'll do some trials, and then we'll get the angles that we want. We'll see. All right, well, we got our 2 pieces cut. and cleaned up, ready for welding. So we're going to try to piece it together, get this at the right angle for what we need. I'm not going to do a pie cut or any kind of cut back here until we get everything tacked up, welded up, and maybe once we're done, pull it out and kind of line up and see if we want to do it or if we want to leave it like that. But I think that looks kind of mean. So, all right, I guess we'll get these kind of into place and get them held up and get it tacked in, and then I'll try to show you the different angles of it. So what we're trying to do is get that exhaust tip about the same plane as our rear arm. I think that was pretty close that way. So once we got it that way, I wanted the same kind of angle this way so they're parallel to each other. And I think that's pretty close. But man, I think that looks mean and that looks cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the welder up. We'll start in here and tack this side, and then we'll double check, make sure we're good here, and we'll put a tack and check it again. And man, I do like that a lot. Awesome. And then we got, probably have to cut our hole just a little bit bigger on this side, which I'm not too worried about, but I think that looks pretty awesome. All right, you can't tell me that doesn't look pretty cool. Looks mean too. I'm really liking that. So we got it welded, got it cleaned up. I'm really not worried about grinding the connection down here or right there too much, because I'm going to use some of the black exhaust wrap pretty much from here to right here before this starts, where it passes through the aluminum, just to help with that heat just a little bit. There's a lot of room around this, so I think this is fine without wrapping up here, but that'll end up hiding all this through there. And then we'll worry about if we're going to pie cut this later on or not. Let me know what you think. It'll be coming out like that. Should we pie cut this back here to slant that, or just leave it flat? So let me know if you would, what you think, because I'm really not sure yet. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and get this bolted back on, and then I'll show you what it looks like, and then you can think about it and then comment and let me know if we should cut it maybe at a 45, 65, just a little bit, or just leave it alone. So let me put this back on, and we'll see what she looks like. So I took this out to finish welding it. There was a lot of finagling and twisting and everything else. So we're going to see if we can get this back in here. Oh, wow. Oh, maybe I might have talked too soon. There we go. Hot diggity. All right. Oh man, I like it a lot. I think those baffles really help. So we're parallel here, which I think is pleasing to the eye. And we're also same angle as that there. So man, I think that looks really good. So let me know on these pie cuts what you think. If we should cut it at all this way or just leave it alone, because I really don't know right now. But man, I think that looks good. They're inside. And we got plenty of clearance around there for the exhaust wrap and just some movement. But oh man, that's freaking cool. There we go. Heck yeah. All right, so now the task is to match the right side to the left side. Don't think it'll be too hard for our outside pieces. I just think that our inside is going to be routed a little bit different. I usually try to keep the exhaust, especially on duals, about the same length. So I think the right's going to be 6 inches, maybe 12 inches longer, but it is what it is. We're going for looks too. So, all right, let's try to mimic the other side. Fingers crossed. You like my buddy back there? All right, anyway, let's get back to it. So on to the right side. If you notice, we can't get this side in here to turn because probably about right in here we're hitting the frame rail. We're pretty close in the front. So I think I'm gonna have to end up cutting it here. But I flipped it this way and I'm pretty close to getting those two to line up. Wait, hold on. Let me get it. There. There's so much movement. Well, maybe not. I don't know. We could almost get these two in this way, but we're really close to the starter And then we're really close to the frame rail here. I know I'd have to switch this one. I don't know if I can. Maybe, where are we at here? Well, that hits there and that one hits there. That's pretty close. And if I cut it here, no, that's going to be bad there. So I think I'm going to go ahead. If I do it this way, I think I'm going to cut here, and then might have to cut this one off, and then we'll kind of piece it back together, because we're going to have to come down and then dump it out of our hole right down here, just like the other side. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and cut this into two pieces. Pipes are cut into two. I'll go ahead and put the first one on, just so we can kind of figure out what we need to do, I guess. And go from there. It's a little trickier on this side because our starter is on this side, so we don't have as much play and free room to do what we want. So that's going to make it a little trickier, but we'll figure it out, hopefully. Let's see where we at here. It's gonna be a tight fit. I mean, it's nice having these headers where I can at least use some of it. And worst case, if it doesn't work out the way I want, I can just slice them all right up here at the head and do my own thing. But, oh, how am I getting into this? I think we can make it work. If we can at least use two of these, I'll be happy with that. I can just get them in here finger tight so I can make sure they all seat up properly and we don't have any crazy warpages. It looks pretty good. All right, let's tighten this up here. So yeah, we don't have much room here. I think, well, probably help if you tighten it instead of loosened what you just tightened up, wouldn't it? It's into the pocket. And that's into the pocket. All right. Little tight. Baby tight. Baby tight. And there we go. All right. Show you what we got here. So we're mounted there. We do have our throwaway gaskets that we're not going to use. So we're cut here, and we're going to our hole here. Kind of see, not too much room to work with. I think we're coming out of this port and curve to here, and then I have this horseshoe that we're probably going to end up cutting right in here, and move it over as much as we can to clear that bolt, and we'll do a little cut there to try to get it out of the way. I don't know, we're gonna have to figure this one out. But then down here we'll be able to cut it and then cut back the other way to put our baffle on. So all right, let's see what we can figure out here. We cut our U piece into half, put a little bevel on here, try to center it up with our hole in our actual tank, and we have a good fit up there. If you look right here, I just did a kind of hammer and kind of dinged it in just a little bit to give us more clearance here. We had probably 1/8 inch, 3/16. So now we have quite a bit more. So it's gonna help, especially when we have to wrap it. So I think now I know kind of where I want this. I'm going to try to get this to dump in. Maybe I'll come straight down into this, because I don't want to curve this into this pipe and having the pressure force against these two. Probably won't be that big of a deal, but I think the less restrictions, the better. So I might try to see if I can just dump this down into here, and fingers crossed that will work. And then all we have to do is cut our holes into this tube, weld it up, and then we can work on our baffle piece. So I guess next step is let's figure out our last exhaust port here. All right, cut this tube down to a little stubby. We know we're gonna have to put an extension on it, but try to make it straight so we didn't have any curve, so it's not doing any back pressure. And there is that way. Go there. All right, so I guess we're going to mount this up to here. We're going to see where we're at. Might go ahead and notch our tube there to do a connection piece, so we have a hole to go through it. Then we can try to get it all tacked up. So we got our edge cleaned here. Got this piece cut. This is the part that will come out the bottom of the tank that we'll hook our baffle to. We do have our indention here for our starter bolt, and then we have our little connection piece that will go on here, something like this. So I'm just going to fit it up to see how we look and see if we need to make any adjustments before we drill our hole here. All right, so there you can kind of see it if you can see it. Will be somewhere about like that. I just took a Sharpie and marked the outside edge of where this pipe hits, and I'm going to come in probably 1/8 inch or so and cut out a hole so the exhaust has a place to go. So do that, hook it back up, and then I guess we can start tack welding it, and then we'll work on our baffle. But I think this is going to work. Got good clearance around the starter. I think this will be it. So let's give it a whirl. All right, we got our piece that'll go in like this down through there. We have our other piece that will fit on like this. So then when you inside, we cut out the hole, it'll center up a little bit, but that way the exhaust to go through. And once, I don't know, I think that'll work. So nice clean miters. So next step, I got to take the front piece off so I can clean up the edges there. Obviously there's no room to clean it. And then we'll put it back on, get everything situated, and then we'll get it tacked up. So our first bit, I need to tack up here so I can adjust where I need it somehow. My main thing is I need to make sure I'm good in my hole down there. All right, that's a good tack there. All right, I'm perfect in that hole. Now I'm probably gonna be blocking you, so you wanna move over here? we got this piece cut and cleaned up for the most part. Again, we're going to end up wrapping this, so I don't need to make it look too pretty. I think my one problem I'm going to have is once I get the baffle onto this, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it in here without having to lift the motor or possibly take the starter out. I don't know yet, but I'll worry about that when I have to get to it. So we'll put this in and get everything tightened up, and then we're going to see if we can get our baffle piece on here. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work because this was a pain to get out just by itself, much less with that extension on it. I guess we'll find out, won't we? It'll work or it won't, and we'll make it work. I don't care. I just didn't want to have to bolt that little baffle piece on. I think that would be kind of silly, but whatever. Okay. Anyway, there's not a lot of room in this thing at all to work. Dimpling the pipe right here for the starter bolt or starter connection. That looks really good. Gives me quite a bit of room, especially when the cable's in there. I can wrap it the other way and get the exhaust strap on there. We still have room. So yeah, there we go. Oh, this is lining up good. Get these semi-secure. I don't know what that was. It was like a song and a hum in one. So I've never made exhaust for a flathead. Mostly motorcycles. Never done headers for a car. Mainly just all motorcycle stuff, but it's all pretty much kind of the same, I guess. You just have more to work with. All right, so that's in. So we got about 1/8 of an inch at the top of our hole here. I can always make that a little bigger. Got it nice and tight and secured. We have good clearance through here, and you can see the dimple right here. Well, there we go. There's the dimple, and frame rail. Got some clearance there. And then there's our hole. So we'll probably make that just a little bit bigger there where it comes out. Not too much. We have a piece here we cut just to try to get us to our angle. Or which way it goes, maybe this way. So we're going to go kind of like that. That's going to go kind of like, well, maybe like that. So I know I have down here, we're like 12 1/4. So I put this brace up here to get it. And now I can kind of eye off of the track bar and then look at overhead to see if we need to move it any. And that looks good for the track bar. And then sideways we look really good. We got a little gap there. I need to try to pull that up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this situated and then get the welder so we can tack this. So we're parallel there, and that looks good. And down through there. So, whoop. All right, I'm gonna attempt to take this off and see how bad it is. Well, we know I didn't get lucky and be able to slide this in, so I had to jack up the engine first. Hopefully you can hear me. Everybody's blowing off grass or something, I don't know. So yeah, I jacked it up, and I guess that's the only way we're going to be able to do it. It is what it is. So here's our right side. So we're ended up from here, and we'll do the exhaust, probably black wrap everywhere else, but that's not today. Yeah. Not that way. All right, let's bend it down this way, maybe. Lordy sakes, man, I swear. Here we go, let's try that. Let's try this way. What am I hitting? Lordy sakes, man. Okay, well, enjoy the music. All right, here we go. Let's see here. So now, I think I'm going to just put one of these in to start it, to hold it. Ah. Maybe. I don't want a lot of pressure on it. Okay, and I had to take off the other side too, because when I jacked up the engine, it was rubbing on the hole, so whatever. All right, let's let this down a little bit. Slowly is the plan. Oh, hello. Okay, let's hear noises. All right, this side's still good. Let's get our engine bolts ready. Okay, and the other exhaust is out of the way. Yep, we're good there. Okay. Yeah. We have noises. When you hear noises, always check. Okay, we're still loose there. We're still good there. Oh, gee, don't pull that. All right, we need to come down a little bit more. Line up these holes. All right, front bolts are touching. That's pretty close. That's there. Let's keep a little pressure on it for a minute. Both of those are down. That one's down. Now let's see if she'll want to play a game. Let's see here. Oh, I'm getting that one yet. I need a gasket. And this one. My only worry right now really is since I took it off to weld it, because I only had a couple tacks on it to hold it because there's no room, is that this kind of warped some. So hopefully it did not, but we'll find out shortly. All right, well, that one started easy, so that's good. Oh, man. This is going to come out this Friday, so it's Friday. Happy Friday. But while I'm filming this, it's actually on Monday, and we got about 30-40 minutes until the apocalypse. That's what everybody's been calling it. Freaking idiots. The eclipse. So that'd be kind of cool. I got my shop chair. I don't know if you all seen it, but it's got a bunch of dimple dies and stuff like that in it. And I'm going to have that sitting out so I can record the shadow part of it. Okay, what's happened here? Oh, I think I'm too tight right here. So I think that'd be kind of cool. Hello. Am I hitting the gasket? What am I hitting here? Move, gasket. Dang it. Can't see. Where are we at here? There we go. We got her. Oh. All right, so we got that everywhere. And what's my wheel? Yeah. Certain torques require certain sound effects. No, I'm not torquing these yet, just so you know. Okay. Hot diggity, man. There we go. I still got to put the other side on, but it's okay. Good there. Still got clearance there. Yeah. Okay. So got the same line there, and same line there. Pretty close. We'll see it's the angle. Whoa. Yeah. But anyway, I think that looks really cool, man. I'm digging that. The only part that's horrible is I gotta lift the motor, but I'm not too worried about that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put the other side back on there so we can kind of see what it all looks like all the way done. Rear exhaust is in. Peekaboo. Peekaboo. Man, I think that's really, I think that's the right way to do it versus how I was going to do it up top. It keeps it nice and low. Still gives me the room up here for my shift mechanism. But man, I'm digging it. Again, we're going to wrap them. I do need to do a little bit of trimming right there, but not much. But let me know what you all think. Again, let me know, like I said on this side, should we leave these tips the way they are, or should we maybe back cut them this way, remove that section so you kind of have like a longer wedge. Or if you have another idea, let me know. I'm just going to leave it as is for now and see what kind of comments I get. Kind of go both ways from the wedge cut, or just leave them like that because I think it looks pretty good. But I think those baffles really make it look mean, and they'll give it a little bit of deeper sound probably. So, but if not, I think it still looks good. So, heck yeah, man. Exhaust is 99.9% done. Well, that's a wrap on the exhaust, minus the exhaust wrap. That'll be when we're done. I think it turned out great. Again, my only issue is I can't slide it in like this one. I have to actually jack up the motor, or I'll figure out something else for that. But it is what it is. It's not just going to be coming out that much once it's all wrapped up anyway. It looks good. Let me know on the pie cuts or the wedges, whatever. And I guess next video, I just got a call that my rims have been sandblasted and powder coated. So I'm going to go pick those up probably tomorrow, and then do a video on mounting all those. We're going to have to clean out the threads where they powder coated it so we can get our aluminum spun hubcaps on it. And then, of course, I'm going to have to try to put them on here, maneuver this thing around so I can get them on and see what it looks like. So that'll be cool. I have a bunch of linkages and all kinds of Heims and I don't know, a bucket full of stuff for the shift mechanism, so we can work on that at some point. Not sure what the next video is going to be yet. Might be the tires. This depends what I'm in the mood for. So, whew. Anyway, I appreciate you all. Keep coming back. Been getting a lot of great comments and likes, so keep those up. That's great. It helps my numbers for the analytical part for YouTube, where they throw out recommendations to other people to get to see the page. So if you are subscribed, I appreciate it greatly. If you're not, please subscribe real quick. It only takes a second and it's free. I appreciate that. And that's it, man. So I'll see you in next Friday. Something. See you later.